Long ago, beneath the velvet skies of ancient Egypt, where the Nile whispered secrets to the reeds and stars glistened like distant torches in the heavens, a girl was born into legend. Her name, Cleopatra, would one day echo across empires. But for now, she was a quiet child, listening to the wind as it rustled the palms outside her palace in Alexandria. The city was alive, a jewel of learning and power, humming softly with the voices of philosophers and priests. Marble pillars held up vast halls where scrolls of knowledge slept. Beneath those same domes, Cleopatra learned to speak many tongues: Greek, Latin, Egyptian, Hebrew. Her mind a sponge, absorbing stories and symbols, faces and fate. She was not the eldest child, nor was she expected to rule. Yet from an early age, Cleopatra held a quiet, steady gaze, as if she saw the world through a deeper lens. Her footsteps fell softly on the mosaic floors, but her presence was felt like the hush before a storm. She watched, always watched, how her father, Ptolemy XII, clung to power, how Rome's shadow lengthened across the Mediterranean, how trust and treachery could wear the same smile. In the soft light of candlelit chambers, she studied with her tutors: astronomy, politics, philosophy. The papyrus pages turned beneath her fingers like river reeds in a breeze. Outside, the moon glowed over the harbour, where ships from every corner of the world rocked gently in the tide, their sails swaying like sleeping birds. As Cleopatra grew, she became not just a scholar, but a student of the human spirit. She learned how to read a man's heart by the twitch of his brow, how to bend a conversation like the curve of a sickle in harvest. Her beauty was undeniable, but it was her mind that made her unforgettable. When her father died, a hush settled over the palace. Cleopatra was only 18. She was to rule alongside her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, a boy still playing with soldiers while real ones marched beyond their gates. Power was not handed to her like silk. She had to grasp it like a blade. Whispers filled the marble halls, whispers of jealousy, of ambition, of plots that slithered like serpents behind every door. She was cast out, banished from the palace, forced into the desert, where the wind howled like wolves across the dunes. Yet Cleopatra did not despair. In the silence of the sand, she remembered the stars she had studied, constant and faithful. She watched them flicker, their light guiding her resolve. She moved among Bedouins and desert tribes, learning the ways of survival, listening to the desert silence as if it were scripture. And then, across the sea, came Julius Caesar, a general whose name made the earth tremble. He arrived in Alexandria chasing his rival, but Cleopatra saw something more. She wrapped herself in linen, hid in a rug, and was smuggled into Caesar's presence. When the fabric unfurled, there she stood, unbowed, luminous, eyes dark as coal-lined night. Caesar saw not only beauty, but brilliance. She spoke to him as an equal. She spoke of Egypt, of Rome, of empires built and broken. He listened. In the hush of the palace, beneath the painted ceilings, they made a pact. Caesar was intrigued not merely by her charm, but by her command of politics, her fluency in diplomacy, and her passion for Egypt's sovereignty. With Caesar's help, Cleopatra reclaimed her throne. Her brother drowned in the Nile, and she, crowned in gold, became queen of Egypt alone. Yet her heart remained calm, like the surface of still waters. She bore Caesar a child, Caesarion, and sailed with him along the Nile on a golden barque. their laughter floating like music through the papyrus reeds. They would lie beneath the stars, whispering dreams, blending cultures and destinies. Cleopatra saw in Caesar not just a partner, but a bridge between East and West. She envisioned a new world, where Rome and Egypt could dance in harmony, where philosophy and power shared a table. But Rome was restless. Caesar's enemies conspired in shadows, and when he fell beneath their blades, Cleopatra felt the world tilt. The Nile no longer sang. She returned to Egypt with her son, mourning but resolute. The silence of Alexandria weighed heavily on her shoulders, yet she wore her sorrow like silk, dignified and deep. Then came Mark Antony, another Roman, but different. Where Caesar was stone, Antony was fire. They met beneath the sails of Cleopatra's magnificent ship, her throne encrusted with pearls, her scent of incense trailing through the air. Antony was entranced. Their love was not a whisper, but a storm. They sailed together along the coast, through festivals and feasts, their alliance sealed not just in affection, but in politics. Cleopatra offered wealth, ships, grain. Antony offered strength, protection, and love. Together they ruled like gods. Banquets glowed with lamplight, their halls filled with poetry and music. They laughed, danced, and plotted, lovers against the world. The people of Alexandria called her the new Isis, goddess reborn. But Rome did not forget. Octavian, Caesar's heir, declared war. The tide turned once again. Cleopatra and Antony met their fate at the Battle of Actium, their fleet shattered, their hopes adrift. The waters churn not just with ships, but with dreams unraveling. Back in Egypt, the lovers fled to the tomb they had prepared, not of stone alone, but of memory, of longing, of love entwined with death. Antony fell upon his sword. Cleopatra, heartbroken, followed days later. Whether by asp or by poison, no one knows. What is known is this: her story did not end. It drifted down the Nile like a lotus petal, carried by time. Poets sang of her, historians debated her, artists dreamed of her. Even emperors long after feared the echo of her name. Even now, the ruins of ancient temples still whisper her name to the wind. Statues of her, though worn by time, retain the dignity of a queen who walked with gods. Scholars pore over faded scrolls, decoding her letters, her alliances, her final wishes. The sands of Egypt may shift, but Cleopatra's legacy remains embedded like gemstones in the earth. They say the moonlight over the Nile carries her memory, that when it's quiet and the palm trees sway gently in the night breeze, one can feel her presence, elegant, strong, unbroken. She is part of the land, the river, the stars. Her life a story woven into the very fabric of history. So let the river flow slowly tonight, like a lullaby. Let your breath match its rhythm. Let your thoughts drift with its gentle tide. Cleopatra walks the banks still, in silence, in starlight, in the dreams of those who remember. And now, as you drift into sleep, let the story of Cleopatra lull you further, deeper, like the slow swirl of the Nile. Let her world wrap around you, soft as silk, warm as torchlight on ancient stone. The past is not gone. It waits for us in dreams, in every flicker of candlelight, in every echo through marble halls. Cleopatra reigns still, in memory, in myth, in the hush of twilight. Close your eyes, drifter. Breathe slowly. Let go. The night welcomes you. just as the ancient skies welcomed the girl who would become a queen.